This is Cockburn Central. This service terminates here. Change here for Mandurah Line services.
This is Cockburn Central Station, now with a black sign, but still a massive orange background. Although we do have two lines here now, so much more warranted. Cockburn Central Station is the junction for the Mandurah and Thornlie-Cockburn lines, with it being the terminus for the Thornlie-Cockburn Line, located approximately 20.5 kilometers from Perth along the Mandurah Line down the median of the Coronado Freeway, and approximately 32 kilometers from Perth via the Thornlie-Cockburn Line. The station opened as part of the Mandurah Line on the 23rd of December 2007, known as Thomson Lake Station during construction, but becoming Cockburn Central with the opening, along with the suburb of Cockburn Central being created. This is the main entrance to the station from the kind of transit-oriented or transit-adjacent developments located here in this area with high-density apartments, shopping strips, and all these roads actually named after railway-related things like Signal Terrace and Points Way and stuff like that. And you've also got this artwork up there. That one is called Places of the Community, showing significant places in Cockburn, installed in 2015. But on the side, before the station opened, there was a $40,000 artwork installed with two faces. It was titled Faces of the Community, which had a combination of 250 residents from the Cockburn area combined into some fake generated face. And there was a lot of criticism about that artwork, but it remained up until 2019 when there was damage to the artwork. Then they had to replace it, but only 8% of respondents just wanted it to come back. So then they got that new artwork there, which is the Carnaby's Black Cockatoo artwork, and looks much nicer. But anyway, let's walk inside now. This is the drop-off area where I just am here. You can see some signs about the artwork. And then this is the bus interchange. So Cockburn Central is probably one of the best connected to nearby high density, or at least better than low density residential areas, train stations along the freeways and the Mandurah Line, with all this being nearby. And also the Cockburn Gateway Shopping Centre down there, although unfortunately with the station being on the northern side of Billiard Drive over there, it's actually quite a walk, an unpleasant walk, be that, down through that underpass, or a one-stop bus ride on most of the bus routes. So we'll come back out here later and take a look around at all the buses and the walk down there. But for now, let's enter the station from this side. And toilets here, drink fountain, vending machines, and the Metronet sign for the station's changes, which have obviously now happened, of course. Cockburn Central Station replaced the Success Park and Ride facility, which was located near to the Cockburn Gateway Shopping Centre area prior to the opening of the Mandurah Line. It is now one of the busiest stations on the network, with over 1.5 million boardings per year as of 2014, probably much higher now as well, with the connection of the Thornlie-Cockburn Line. So, I don't know, it might even overtake Murdoch in terms of its patronage once there's more development around the area. So this is the pedestrian covered bridge to access from the bus interchange. You can see the platforms down there, and the really weird car marker, actually, that font on the number 6. The display board here lists services to Perth via Murdoch, as well as services to Perth via Cannington on the bottom for the Thornlie-Cockburn Line, which started serving the station with its opening on the 8th of June 2025. Services on the Thornlie-Cockburn Line only run every 15 minutes, all day, every day, and 30 minutes at night time. late night.
Compared with the Mandurah Line's 15-minute off-peak frequency, but 10-minute frequency along the entire line during peak and 5 minutes between Perth and Cockburn Central, as well as along the entire line before and after peak. Services terminating at Cockburn Central use one of the two sidings located to the south of the station, while Thornlie-Cockburn Line trains use the newly constructed Platform 3, extending north from the Mandurah Line island platforms. Trains on the Thornlie-Cockburn Line are now primarily B-series since the reopening of the Armadale Line to Byford on the 12th of October 2025, although between June and October, when this video was filmed, it was run by primarily A-series trains with only the occasional B-series used. Nowadays, there is only one two-car A-series regularly operating on the line. Trains on the Mandurah Line are mainly B and C series, with A series used before 2017 and between December 2023 and June 2025 with the opening of the Thornlie-Cockburn Line, but only on the W pattern shuttles. 6-car trains of all three train types are also used on the line during stadium events, skipping the 4-car platforms at McIver, Claysbrook, Burswood and Victoria Park.
There was also one occasion in recent times on March the 20th, 2025, with a 4-car A-series heading all the way down to Mandurah. And I'm still really annoyed at missing that. Anyway, this is the eastern exit to the station via that uncovered pedestrian bridge, as you saw with how noisy it was. And over here is the bike shelter and a lot of parking. The other side doesn't have that much, but over here is where the parking is, short-term based as well, and all of this parking over here. So Cockburn Central has about 1,300, 1,500 bays. I'll put the number on the screen if I got it wrong.
This car park is almost always completely filled up, which I don't really get why when the Auburn Grove station is literally 5 minutes down the road and has the biggest car park on the transport network, which is like almost always more than half empty. Plus, you get ahead of the rush on the train before Cockburn Central and able to get a seat then on the train. But another reason for this car park being so majorly used is due to the Armadale Line shutdown, which started in November 2023 and lasted almost 2 years until October 2025, with many people driving over from the Armadale Line to use the train line and thus greatly increasing the Mandurah Line patronage. There was also the 529 bus route, which there's one right there, reintroduced after being withdrawn many years back to provide a direct connection between the Armadale and Mandurah lines with no turns along the entire Armadale Road, complementing the east-west connection that the Thornlie-Cockburn Line now also provides. This bus route has been retained after the reopening of the line, although with a reduced frequency practically halved during most periods of the day.
Otherwise, on this side, there's not really much. There's an industrial precinct over here, and there's a few buildings over there that they're slowly popping up, Hungry Jack's and KFC as well. But over here is the North Lake Road, Armadale Road road project, which only opened a few years ago. They made a really complex road structure, actually. There's like a duck and dive tunnel over there underneath a roundabout, and then there's a bridge across another roundabout to alleviate traffic congestion. So North Lake Road over here actually has entrances to and from the freeway in certain directions. Actually, no, in all directions, yeah. Except I don't think there's an exit from the northbound direction.
And there is also no southbound entrance from North Lake Road, with Billiard Drive providing both of these options, creating for quite a complex interchange with two freeway entrance and exit roads so close to each other. With all this road construction also came a new bus exit to the northern side of the bus interchange, making some routes much more direct. And that's it for this desolate car park. We'll head back into the station now where it's not so windy and look at the platforms. But also, if anyone knows what is that building that they've been constructing there for so long, it's really changing the way everything looks around here, and I don't even know what it is. So help me out in the comments if you know.
Okay, now that we're out of that absolutely terrible wind, let's head into the station. Here's the ticket machine information point, phone booth and stuff. And past the closed station software processors, there's also a timetable block here. and the lift, stairs and escalators to get you down to the platform. This is like basically identical copy to Auburn Grove Station, even though Auburn Grove only opened in 2017, greatly relieving the pressure of Cockburn Central Station, with it being a massive gap to Kwinana before that. But yeah, here's this sign. This has been here since about 2018, 2019. I remember it being here. It's still here. Cockburn Central Station will undergo changes to allow passengers to travel between the Armadale and Mandurah lines. When works are complete, Southern Suburbs residents, I'll just listen to the announcement here.
This service, all stations to Perth via Murdoch.
It's so weird. It says all stations to Perth via Murdoch. It doesn't even say stops all stations anymore. Anyway, when works are complete, Southern Suburbs residents will be able to catch the train to Optus Stadium and Crown Resort, Crown Resort, even mentioning that, in berths without needing to transfer through the Perth CBD. Platform extended by 162 meters, passenger platform cover, seating, extension to existing walkways, direct connection to special events at Optus Stadium and Crown Resort. And there's the artist's impression. Pretty accurate, except for the fact that it had dot matrix displays which say Nicholson Station, Thornlie Station, and this train going the wrong direction. But yeah, it's really funny seeing this now. I remember when this was here in 2018-19, it felt like such a futuristic thing. Like I was like, whoa, there'll be a connection out of the city, and now it's all here and it just feels normal already. But anyway, heading down into the island platform with platform 1 to Perth, platform 2 to Mandurah as usual. There are screen displays as well, which are actually pretty recently installed to allow for the more complex information to be in there. Although I don't know why it doesn't say via Murdoch on the screen displays. That is weird. Whatever. That's the platform here. We'll go to the other end as well in a moment. But over here is the new platform 3, which was actually under construction since about 2021. So the track from Cockburn Central Station to the Glen Iris Tunnel, where the Thornlie-Cockburn Line spurs off. Oh, we have a C-series here. That track was quadruplicated to 4 tracks during the period, like from 2021. At Christmas time 2021, there was a 3-week shutdown of the Mandurah Line, with express buses to all stations from Bull Creek to Cockburn Central running to allow for the construction to occur. There's that C-series. And this is the new platform 3, where there's actually a B-series coming in the TCL right now, which is pretty cool. So definitely, it's really nice at Cockburn Central because you actually get all 3 train types really regularly coming through. There goes the sea. It's really nice here next to on the platform 3, how you can watch the trains zoom by you. So of course this is a 6-car platform extending all the way out. It is quite a long way though to come all the way out here. Considering there's no entrance maybe up to that road or to the bus station from here, but that's okay. This has changed so much. So after that Christmas shutdown, they were doing a bit of construction throughout the year, but not much really happened. Then there was another shutdown during Christmas of the next year, at the end of 2022 into 2023. That was only a week long, and they actually reopened the line on New Year's Eve because it was really bad disrupting that night. And then I think that was pretty much it. There was a few more weekend shutdowns for construction, but they managed to get it done. This has just changed dramatically. Like in the original Cockburn Central Station video, if you go and take a look, I was standing at the end of the island platform over there, filming out this way. None of this was here, not even this bridge, because this is the North Lake Road Bridge, which didn't exist before. It was under construction during my filming of that video. And over here on the northern side of the station, we had 2 pairs of crossovers to allow the trains to switch tracks. And now they can still do that, which I just experienced a few days ago from the filming of this video during a disruption. There's actually 3 crossovers in a row. So the train can go from the southbound Mandurah track to the southbound TCL track to the northbound TCL track and then to the northbound Mandurah track, all the way across. See those crossovers here? Other way applies, same thing. and that also allows for the direct services to Optus Stadium. Traveling all stops to Thornlie at the moment, then express to the stadium, but I believe that'll change in the future to just be a full express eventually. So this is one of the best train spotting locations over here. If you want to see lots of trains here, go and check out the day when platform 3 was actually first in use, when one of the sidings malfunctioned and W pattern terminated here. I did film all three, no, not a C-series on platform 3, but all 3 trains are here. Now this little bit of track here is actually the only bit of single track in the network, if you want to count that, because it's where the TCL splits in together. Anyway, this platform is of course 6 cars in length, but that is only used on stadium event days. Otherwise the train will stop at the very front, and very front door is where you need to be. Connections to the Mandurah line from the TCL are not that great. As you see, that Perth-bound train just left, so it's pretty terrible. And usually the southbound train comes in 1 minute to 30 seconds before the TCL train leaves. So off-peak and weekends, really not that great. Peak, it varies obviously with the different frequencies. The trains can also race each other there with one of the only extensive sections of the only extensive section of high-speed parallel running anywhere on the network. It's so cool if you get to race each other. Wow, the B series here looks so different because it stops under the bridge. It seems like such a weird spot. I've never actually seen the 3-car B series from the front here. And we might as well take a quick look inside. Now this is actually set 91, which is the one B series which has extra equipment on it to allow for testing of new lines. This was the first train to run up to Ellenbrook and Yanchep. No, Yanchep was a different one. 111, I think. But it went testing on the Yanchep line soon after. So, of course, this train line provides a great connection to the southeastern suburbs, including Cannington and Canning Vale, directly from Cockburn Central.
Your next service from platform 2 departs in 5.
But otherwise, it's a much longer way to Perth,
All stations.
taking about 35 minutes. Definitely not a viable option compared to the 18 minutes. It's literally, no, it's like 37 minutes. Listen to the announcement.
Departs in 5 minutes. This service stops at all stations to Perth via Cannington.
Via Cannington. So on this side they say via Cannington, but at Perth for the TCL they actually say via Thornlie, which is weird. But yeah, it takes over double the time of the Mandurah line, so don't ever use that to get to Perth if you want to go quickly, unless there's a disruption in the Mandurah line, of course, then it's a useful alternative. Okay, we'll just walk to the other end of the platform and then go take a look at the buses. Because here we are in the main part of the platform, covered staircase coming down here and the singular lift. Really not that great considering there's 2 lines to connect to down here now. Over there, the sidings, there are 2, as I said before, for the W pattern services. After 5 p.m. though, since the Yanchep line opened, all trains do continue to Mandurah. So it's actually a 5-minute frequency in the entire line, which is pretty cool for such a long line. Over here, this spot, the only thing it reminds me of is all of the enjoyment of the A series coming back to the Mandurah line. From about 2017 to 2023, they never ran in the line. Then for the whole of 2024, they ran, and then after TCL opening June 8th, they're gone again. And I missed my one chance in recent times to take it to Mandurah. Do you know how angry I still am at that? But there you go, that's the station with black platform signs as well, of course, which I guess makes sense here since there is 2 lines, but there's way too many other places where they're doing that, even though there isn't 2 lines. This station actually was the first one to get any sort of new platform signs when they were first changing them. And they were orange, and they were actually just a completely thin sheet of metal. Then they changed them to a thick orange metal sign, and then they changed them to black. So the station signs here have been changed 3 times in the last 5 years. That is so ridiculous. Okay, let's go check out the buses now. Okay, let's have a look through the buses here. And also, this map is actually fully on with the shutdown for the Armadale line. Most of the other system maps have a sticker there, so I don't know why they changed it here. Now, Cockburn Central has a very extensive bus network. Routes connect over to both the Armadale line and the Fremantle line. So we have all these routes, 520, 530, 531 and 532 going to Fremantle Station. The 520 goes out here, does a big loop through South Lake and then up and through along Forest Road and Rockingham Road to Fremantle. The 531 takes Billiard Drive and then travels via lots of these streets, the Grange, looping there, looping there, looping there, lots of loops, looping there and up to Fremantle. 532 is very direct, Billiard Drive all the way and then Hamilton Road, and then just here a few weird zigzags and then Fremantle Station. And finally 530 is also pretty direct, going here but then up Hammond Road and round through the suburb of Yangebup before connecting back onto Billiard Drive and then going up Rockingham Road instead. So all those options connect you over to Fremantle. Then we have one station, actually two, but one takes a ridiculously long route around. But the 514 is a station-to-station connection route to Murdoch Station, one stop up the Mandurah Line, traveling through North and South Lake here and up there. Meanwhile, the 518 also goes there, but it goes all the way out through Piara Waters and Canning Vale, past Radford Road Station, where actually half the off-peak trips terminate now, and then to Murdoch and Murdoch TAFE. So that's a very long loop around route. And then there's also the 233, which connects over to Gosnells via Piara Waters and Harrisdale, and the 529 that I was talking about earlier directly to Armadale. There's the 523, which just goes out and up to the suburb of Treeby, which is greatly expanding always. There's still this area which should probably be served better, but I don't know, it terminates there. I don't know why it doesn't have the symbol. It makes it look like a circular route. And then 3 station-to-station connection routes down to the south to Auburn Grove. 527 goes on the east side of the train line through Atwell, while the 525 and 526 go on the west side of the train line. 526 is very short, takes like 7 minutes, and a great alternative to the train if you just missed it. Probably the shortest station-to-station connection route anywhere. And I actually just took it earlier because I was filming some really weird deviation on it that I didn't know even existed. So just quickly, the stands. Stand 1 is for the 525 and 6, both to Auburn Grove. Stand 2 is for the Treeby service as well as the 527 to Auburn Grove over there. Stand 3 is for the 233 to Gosnells via Piara Waters and Harrisdale, and 518 to Murdoch TAFE and station in Ranford Road Station via Piara Waters as well. Then over here we have the Fremantle route. Stand 4 is for the 530 and 531. Stand 5 is for the more direct 532. Stand 6 over there is a set down only and train replacement towards Mandurah stand. Stand 7 is for the 514 and 515 once a day. 515 is actually Murdoch Station to Jandakot suburb, but there is a once a day extension of the 515 which travels as a school service to Cockburn Central Station, which I have filmed that one as well when they changed the terminus, so you can go check that one out in the corner. Stand 8 is Fremantle route 520 as well, and that's also the route you take to go to Adventure World if you want to go there, the only route to go past Adventure World. Stand 9 is for 529 to Armadale, and then all these stands over here are just set down coming from Cockburn Gateway, where most of the routes do. Stand 10, 11 also for train replacement to Perth, and stand 12 is for Trans WA and Thornlie-Cockburn Line train replacement 908 as well. So now all of the routes here are run by Transdev and Fremantle Depot mainly, except the 233 and 529. 529 was Transdev until the opening of the Thornlie-Cockburn Line, but now it's not anymore. All the other routes are all the other routes are Transdev. So, although with the reopening of the Armadale Line to Byford, the 527 service should actually be the Swan Transit again, because the routes on the east side of the train line are supposed to be Swan Transit, but were given to Transdev as the Armadillo Line shutdown started, because Swan Transit was too busy with all the 907 and 221 operation and stuff. So there goes 2014 gas bus with the Thornlie-Cockburn Line WOMAD on it still. Here's the timetable for the coach services which come through here. Cockburn Central is a major stopping point for coaches. We have, oh my god, so many buses. We have most of the Trans-WA coaches from the south, all of them stop here on their way up to East Perth, so you can connect to the north-south train lines from here. Except the Austrian replacements, which will continue to run until early 2026, until the train is back. That one actually stops at Kwinana station instead. And then there's also Southwestern Coach Line's private operator bus services, coach services, which do stop here on their way to Perth Airport. And then after this, they go to the airport and then to Elizabeth Quay bus station. I don't know who the hell is using those buses from Elizabeth Quay bus station. Considering that is such a long way around. This is completely fenced off. Yeah, I think it is. But here's actually another car park. A little bit more car parking, also completely full. I didn't realize this was here. So on top of the car park on the other side. Yeah. So that's those services as well. Okay, that's basically all for Cockburn Central Station. It is a very major station, as I said, with all this around here as well, hence the name Central. Kind of a weird name though. Cockburn. You know, don't pronounce it how it's written or it's really weird. That's not how it's pronounced anyway. It's just a shame that despite this supposedly being a transit-orientated development, it's not really fully successful. The eastern side is just a car park, and it's still quite a long walk to all these areas here, especially the Cockburn Gateway Shopping Centre, which is such a big shopping centre and unfortunately not properly connected. There are people making the walk, but it's terrible. Look at this underpass, especially at night if you come here. This is so dodgy, walking under Billiard Drive over here. And yeah, you can't take the buses for one stop, as I said. So I'll just show you the walk up. Most of the buses go here. It's just the 514 and the 520, which actually just directly bypass out that way. And also any routes which use the newer northern exit onto North Lake Road, which is actually just the 529, I think. And the once a day 515 extension. But yeah, there is the PSP there as well. That is the main Kwinana Freeway PSP bypassing through here. But this is a bus-only road taking you down underneath. It actually didn't exist before. With the original opening of Cockburn Central, this was just a pedestrian route and all the buses just went like out straight into the main road. But then they made this, making the buses have a more direct route to the shopping center, so you can use the services to get there. So this looks so ugly. I really hate this walk here. So here we are once you make the walk under the underpass. Oh my gosh, the wind. Over here, this is the shopping center. This is still all a bus-only road. Actually, I think this has been recently repainted to emphasize that. It wasn't like this before. They've actually marked in the bays as well and stuff. And then we have just these bus stops here, which is a really major bus stopping point really. This looks like its own bus station, even though it's just two stands, and one stop from the train station. All those routes on that side just straight to Cockburn Central. So really the thing is, any routes even coming across that bridge over there, like the 523 and the 233 and the 527, they come in here and then do a big square loop around and go back under where they just came from to get to serve this stop instead of going directly in. As you can see on there, all those routes, and then the shop is just around the corner here. And this is actually also a major eating area. There's lots of restaurants here and it's really nice being outdoors here. It's like a really nice plaza spot, especially at night, because all this is open at night as well, unlike the shopping center, which closes, except the major stores, of course, except on weekends when it does all close at 5. And that's inside a very big shopping center here as well. Anyway, let's spot some buses and trains now.
Passengers, your next service for platform 1 departs in 2 minutes. This service, all stations to Perth via Mandurah. in or around the station complex. Thank you for your cooperation. service stops at all stations to Mandurah. Attention passengers. Transport trains advises passengers that luggage and personal items must not be left unattended in or around the station complex. Thank you for your cooperation. Perth passengers, your next service from platform 1 departs in 3 minutes. This service, all stations to Perth via Mandurah. Perth passengers, your next service from platform 1 departs in 2 minutes. This service, all stations to Perth via Mandurah. Perth passengers, your next service from platform 2 departs in 5 minutes. This service stops all stations to Perth via Trainspotting. Perth passengers, your next service from platform 1 departs in 2 minutes. This service, all stations to Perth via Mandurah. Mandurah passengers, your next service from platform 2 departs in 5 minutes. This service stops all stations to Mandurah.
Right, we got a 527 over there. Now this is actually being filmed during the Royal Show Week, only 2 weeks before the Byford Rail Extension opening. And with the opening, the routes that go onto the eastern side of the freeway over here at Cockburn and at Auburn Grove, which are the 523 to Treeby, the 527 to Auburn Grove, and the 537 from Auburn Grove to Wandy, which you obviously can't see in this video, they are being swapped back to be Swan Transit like they were before the start of the Mandurah Line shutdown. So this is actually the last 2 weeks of seeing the Trainspotting buses in them. Probably also means last 2 weeks of seeing the Optimus buses mainly on them. Because right now it's literally like almost 100% Transdev here, except 529 of course, and yeah, 518 and stuff. But That means that it's like all Optimus ever since Fremantle Depot. Just got Optimus buses, and now the gas buses will be back on Swan Transit services. So there goes 3247 on the 527, and got another NIS bus coming in. And there's 523, 3540, another Transdev bus over here. Well, there we go. Gas bus coming in on 233. That's also a Swan route. Honestly, gas buses here are like literally rare now. It's only in the Swan services. Before they were all the time with the Fremantle depot. It's crazy to see how much Cockburn Central has changed with the introduction of the Armadale Road Bridge here. All this didn't exist before. The second bus exit didn't even exist. And it's just a U-turn point, and then this bridge wasn't here. And now this is such a major road with the freeway entrances and everything. Although literally only, two routes use this, the 515 extension trip and the 529. Everything else goes out the other way.
Cockburn Central Station will be getting a rating of 5 stars, but let me tell you, that is a pretty low 5 stars. Don't get me wrong, it's good that it's got these 2 lines here with the connectivity and all the bus routes and the high density development around it, but it's still a missed opportunity to have properly timed connections and good walking connections to the Cockburn Gateway Shopping Centre with full density all the way around the station, considering it is called Central instead of just on one side and really not enough of it. So there is a lot of room for improvement still, but still one of the best stations on the Mandurah Line and one of the most significant in the network, so it would be unfair to rate it lower than 5 stars.